Welcome back to the Kalev Sports Hall here in Tallinn, Estonia, and it's time for the medal matches at the first World Cup of the 2019-2020 fencing season.
First semi-final. Gold medal from Rio de Janeiro team competition 2016. Representing Romania, Anna Maria Popescu.
So, Olympic gold medalist from Rio, Anna Maria Popescu from Romania.
Rio Olympic Games bronze medalist representing People's Republic of China, Ivan Sun.
A bronze medalist from the Rio Olympic Games, Sun Yuen, face each other in the first semi-final.
Second semi-final. Gold medalist from 2018 Asian Games team competition, representing People's Republic of China, Mingche Zhu.
Asian team gold medalist Zhu Mingji lines up in the second semi-final.
Representing the Russian Federation. Bronze medalist from Rio de Janeiro Olympic team competition 2016, Violeta Kolobova.
Zhu goes up against Violeta Kolobova, who got a bronze medal in the team event at the Rio Olympic Games. Mina Borosak of Croatia will see over the first match. And Gerasidiris of Greece will look after the video. The German referee Matthias Henkelmann will take to the piste for the second semi-final, and he's joined by Estonia's very own Denis Ostrovsky. Well, there's plenty of people here in the crowd for these medal matches. Two semi-finals followed by the gold medal match. And there's some esteemed company in the crowd as well. The president of the Estonian Olympic Committee, Urmas Suruma, is here, along with the mayor of Tallinn, Michal Kolvart. And there's a couple of big names from the world of fencing. Estonia's president, Margus Hansson, is here. And I believe that he's also joined in the ranks by other members of other federations, neighbouring federations maybe. I believe the Latvian president is here, Erika Aza, and they are joined. Adrian Speakman. Adrian, you've been a busy man today.
Yeah, I'm very busy today. So not as busy as yesterday. Very long preliminary to get to this point.
Well, we have our first semi-final. Mina Borosak is going to get us underway. Popescu on the right, Sun on the left. Sun with the pink mask is a pommeler. He has a straight French grip. Popescu on the right with the more commonly used pistol grip. Adrian, in these early phases, we've seen a lot today, the fencers using, especially two fencers that are as highly ranked as this, using that first minute of non-combativity and quite happily taking the P yellows.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much of a punishment for your first minute. You're both going to get the yellow because you're both on a tied score. So it's worth it just to see how your opponent will react to certain things, playing with the footwork, playing with the blade work, just seeing what responses you can elicit.
Well, they left it to just under 50 minutes gone to go for the first one, and it is a double. So as a referee, I mean, like you say, there was 370 odd athletes, 378 I think in total. 279 in the competition. 50 countries represented. When you go onto the piece for each match, is it slightly different, or does your process as a referee remain the same? You're just looking for tells. I mean, you know these fencers very well, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much the same. It's just staying alert, making sure you do a good job, just concentrate. And it doesn't matter whether it's your number 1 seed, your number 200 seed, they all capable of doing something different you've never seen before.
Yeah, we've seen great performances today. Esther Mahari of Hungary, 17 years old, piling her way through the tournament. Leo McKinnon of Canada doing a great job as Sun Yi Wen levels the score. Well, Popescu was the one that looked for the action there, so it was a bit of a response, a reaction from Sun.
Yeah, I don't think Popescu really committed to the end of the hit. It just gave Sun the option to go underneath and pick her off.
I was talking earlier on, while you were on refereeing duties, about the typically with a pommeler, as Sun is, you lose a little bit of accuracy but whilst you gain that little bit of reach. But today we've seen some incredibly accurate hits from Sun.
Yeah, as a pommeler you don't lose too much accuracy. I think the biggest problem you lose out is in the blade contacts. If you end up being caught up, wrapped up in their forte, you're in trouble getting it back out and round.
Both getting caught up with each other there, both managing to avoid getting hit. The referee has to call halt. What's the real description for that? When they can't wield their weapons, or if they've barged into each other?
Yeah, I mean, so there's several. If they've gone past, they're past. If they've gone into each other, it's simple kuro, you call halt. And if you get to the point where they're basically seesawing backwards and forwards with their weapons, where neither of them can fence because they're trapped up against the body, you'd also call halt.
Lovely attack there from Popescu, spotting that moment to go. Popescu working very hard here. Sun just trying to stay patient. So we've got through, about 2 minutes now. It seems to me that Popescu's the one that's doing all the work, the creator, and Sun is the one that's reacting.
Yeah, it's certainly, Popescu having a lot of control of the piece, pushing Sun back a lot. I think it's probably in part the tactics being employed by Sun just to bring her on, look for that counter-attack, look for that hole, that opening, let Popescu do the work for her.
Well, they're down with their coaches. The coaches get an opportunity. On the left, it's Hughes Oberyn. There is Anna Maria Popescu. She's an incredible athlete at 34 years old. Now, this is a really important competition for her. We talked about Olympic qualification throughout the day, done by teams first. Romania not really in with a shout, so Anna Maria Popescu is relying on qualifying through the individual route, and of course that is a cumbersome one to discuss, but in short she's chasing after Coraline Vitali, who unfortunately had to pull out of the competition at the 16 today because of a back injury. The French fencer comes away from this competition with 99 points in the adjusted Olympic rankings. Elena Kravitska, the Ukrainian, also went out a little earlier and ends up with 85 points. Popescu, by my calculations, is already on 90 points, who has leapfrogged one of them.
Yeah, she's climbing up the adjusted rankings. She'll be really setting her sights on some more points here than she's already holding. From now on till the end of qualification, it's just hard slog.
Yeah, it certainly is. April this year marks the end of qualifying by ranking. This is the second period of this women's EPEE semi-final match. A place in the final at stake. And the loser goes away with a bronze. Didn't land on the first one that time. We look back at the replay here. Popescu going in there, and it's a remise with a bit of twisting of the wrist to get it round, pronating the wrist. Now this is where the danger comes for Sun. Popescu, when she has the lead in the latter part of the second period, does tend to go on and win.
Yeah, this is where she wants to be, especially against the Pommeler. You can take your time, and any non-combativity is now in your favour. You're not forced to pressure the match anymore.
I think the well, not so new anymore combativity rules are really good. They've done the job. I wanted to stop fencers just from using time as a tactic to get out of a fight. Now, by punishing the trailing fencer, one fencer if they're trailing has to do something and make an action. But as you predicted, Adrian, Popescu just sitting back and waiting for the mistake.
Yeah, that's it. The time's hers to play with now. She doesn't have to force it anymore. She did the hard work in the first period. Now it's time to let Sun carry on doing that.
Didn't really set that one up. She didn't really do anything to set that up for me.
It's a little bit impatient. It's a little bit big as well.
Sun taking her time now to find a way through. Right, so here's a question for you. 1:07-ish on the clock when the fight restarted after that double. Could you still have non-combativity here?
Yeah, definitely. It's been given today with 1:03 on the clock when the fight's restarted. If you made a rule where the minute's absolute, then when you get down to 1:07,
that's it.
Yep.
Card comes out. So I wonder if there's an element of Popescu here wanting to keep the hit rate up in order to force Sun into making mistakes. Maybe even risking giving away a hit.
Yeah, I think what obviously you have to remember is your first penalty is a yellow card, and it's separate to your normal Group 1 yellow card, so you can afford to take a minute and not really suffer too much of a consequence unless you do it again.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to rush, you can settle down a bit.
Good point. Well, we're having a review of that one. I don't think either fencer called for the video, so I think Mina Borisak has gone to look at the video of her own accord. The only thing that she must be thinking is that there was a hit off the piste.
Against Sun, and everything is possible from both sides.
Well, referee is back. So no hit given. Not quite sure why that call was made.
I think she was signalling Korokor.
Okay. That's why you're here. Noticed in that little video review that Borisak did that Hughes Aubrey was talking to Sun through the translator, passing on clearly some key messages, failing with the flash attack but getting away with a double.
Yeah, and Popescu didn't quite wrap the blade up enough to stop her from pushing it through. She just let it go at the last minute.
These two have met 4 times, and it's 2 apiece. The last time they met, it was Sun who came away the winner 14-13 at the EPEE Grand Prix in Cali in May this year. Whilst Popescu has the advantage, and I tend to favour well, both of these fences, if they have the lead going into the third period, Sun's definitely not out of this.
No, not by any means. She's still got a great chance. I think this sort of matchup's always going to benefit the one who gets a couple of hits ahead. The way they want to fence a pommeler against someone using a standard pistol grip, you always want to be the one looking for the other one to make the mistakes.
We're getting a good look there at Hughes Aubry on the left, the Frenchman who's now coaching the Chinese men and women, and the translator to help him out with getting across. Although Hughes Aubry speaks very good Mandarin, you know.
Yeah, he's, you can hear him shouting it over French at times now.
Here we go, the start of the third and final period of this semi-final match at the Women's EPEE World Cup in Tallinn, the 50th edition of this competition. Now, that I think is what Sun's game is all about. The question is, will Popescu fall into that trap again? I think she just, as you're watching the replay, she just gave herself a little tap on the head and told herself off, rushing in when perhaps she didn't need to.
Yeah, she's a little bit out of distance. Sun had already taken the step back before she really got into the flesh, and that just gave her the time to pick her off.
Concentration key here, you have to say, for more so for Popescu, because clearly Sun has got a game plan. She's pressing into distance and then trying to react off a response from Popescu. Popescu getting a double is good for her, but Sun now, well, can only make 2 more, in inverted commas, mistakes, because Popescu is 3 away from the target score. Sun is playing a blinder here at the moment, pressing just close enough to make Popescu think, well, I've got to do something.
Yeah, it's Popescu's not having it all her own way as she would be hoping. But you can see she's just taken charge again now, though. She's given away a couple of hits, and she's decided it's going to finish on her terms rather than Sun's.
I think that change much required. Looking for a beat attack there, but you mentioned big earlier on.
Yeah, I think it wasn't so much that was too big, so much as she just missed it. She had the blade out the way and actually missed landing the point.
Yeah, perhaps a measured duck from Sun there. It's a tiny bit more urgency now from Sun. Score's all square. She's done hard work. Oh, that is a lovely shot. That's all about just keeping the point in the right place at the right time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. And a bit big in the wrist with the flick. Not finding the blade first just leaves that gap under the wrist to hit.
Still a great skill to be able to do that. She's been doing it all day, though. Oh, that's really nice as well. Binding up the blade, going from the high line into the low line.
Yeah, she just had her completely. She didn't know where that was coming from.
My Sun going to try and press for the final hit. She does. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I think the slip didn't help her there.
Well, while we're watching that replay, Sun just tested her weapon on the side of the piece to make sure it was working. Oh, she's got a spring in a step.
She's just trying to draw that counter out. You can see her deliberately falling short, looking for that counter.
Oh, this has turned into a belter. Popescu led throughout the second period. Suns fought her way back and went into the lead, one away from winning, and Popescu's clipped off 2 in a row. 23 seconds left on the clock. One hit for it. Popescu comes off the line, sees the hesitation from Sun, and Anna Maria Popescu of Romania wins the first semi-final here in Tallinn. What a match, Adrian. What a match.
But what a gutsy last hit to go for that at that time.
Yeah, I think she knew what she was going to do. She went eyes open, stepping off the line, and just launched into it.
Yeah, that was premeditated, and you knew a light was coming up. The question was whose, and was it going to be 1 or 2?
Well, listen, we're going to go quiet, I'm afraid. They're playing commercial music here, so because we are broadcasting on YouTube, we've got to come off air, but we'll be back for the second semi-final here in Tallinn. For the second semi-final here at the Women's EPEE World Cup in Tallinn, the first World Cup of fencing's international season, a crucial one ahead of Tokyo 2020. It's Zhu Mingyi of China who's fencing on the right-hand side, and Violetta Kolobova of Russia on the left. Adrian, can anything top that first semi-final?
Well, that first semi-final was impressively close and swung in different directions. I think it could, but it'll take some doing.
Well, we've already had Zhu showing signs of perhaps a little weakness in that back ankle. Our referee, Matthias Henkelmann of Germany, gets things back underway. So this for a place in the gold medal match against Anna Maria Popescu. Kolobova seemingly keen to avoid that non-combativity call. Have you refereed either of these two today?
Yes, I think I refereed Kolobova earlier, I think.
Well, she came through Kanyan of Italy, Pantelieva of Ukraine, Multera of Germany, who had a great day, and then a really great fight against Kong of Hong Kong in the last round to make it through. Zhu's route, she came through Calderon of Peru, Czabinska of Poland, formerly Nelep. Vitaly had to pull out of their round of 16 match, and there was a confident, maybe the score doesn't say comfortable, but confident victory over Jacques-Andre Cocan in the quarterfinals. Well, she's having a cracking day. She came into the tournament ranked 8th in the world, but she has been one of the star performers so far today. Part of an incredibly strong Russian team. Currently sit in pole position for Olympic qualification as a team. Ahead of China, funnily enough. And what a transformation Hughes Aubrey has made to the Chinese fortunes in EPEE. Well, I'm pretty sure that Hughes Aubrey said something in Mandarin that was something along the lines of, let time run out, get to the break. And that is exactly what Zhu Mingyi has done. Kolobov has been full of business today. She's been up and down and moving very, very, I'm not saying moving actively. She's being a creator in the matches. And it's really worked for her today.
Yeah, she's looking really confident on the piece. Do you see her movement? She's controlling the distance in this fight so far. Very much controlling the distance, and that's going to end up being a big difference between these two unless Zhu can get back in there and start making some effect on putting her under a bit of a discomfort.
Yeah, Alexander Glazunov is giving her the instruction. I think it's pretty simple that she's got to stay active and mobile and be very careful of getting too close. I'm sure down the other end that Hughes Aubrey has got a slightly different. He wanted to get Zhu out of that first period, clearly because he wants to give her some kind of tactical instruction.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do is hold out to the break, get some advice. Maybe there's something the coach is picking up on that you can't see, can't assess, and you just get a different viewpoint on tactics.
It is interesting, isn't it? And as a referee, Adrian, I don't get much of a chance to ask referees all these questions, but I am quite interested. When you go from the first period to second period, and clearly someone's is making some kind of tactical change, are you looking to spot that just to make sure that you're sort of in tune with both fences, or are you just still looking at the fight as a whole?
I mean, in EPEE, it doesn't really matter how they're changing their tactics. It's not going to change how you're refereeing.
Yeah.
So I mean, occasionally it's quite interesting to listen to what some of the coaches are saying, because obviously you have a perspective on the fight, they have a perspective on the fight, and actually what's really interesting is to see when fencers adopt those tactics and seeing them work.
Mm-hmm. I suppose it's probably a less relevant question as compared with foil and sabre, where if there is some kind of, I want you to try and start your attack later into an action or earlier into action, to be in tune with that as a referee is crucial, so that you can explain that whether the fencer's executing what the coach has said well or not.
Yeah, but you don't want to let yourself be influenced
of course,
by the coach.
I didn't say influence. That's why I didn't say influence. I know you're immovable objects in terms of following the rules, and that's what we've wanted, and we've seen over the last few years the standardisation across all the top referees. Zhu just being a little bit more patient, nearly paid off then.
Yeah, she's opened the distance a little more, Zhu. You can see it, and it's not quite as comfortable for Kolobov with the distance being a little bit bigger, but the converse problem of that is Zhu there attacking from out of range just gives chance for Kolobov to come back as she falls short.
I think she surprised herself there, because she kind of got stuck, didn't she?
Yeah.
She like quite rightly said, she's attacked from too far away, and took a little bit of time to go, oh dear, I've attacked from too far away, and by that point, Kolobov had plenty of time to land, having skipped out of distance. So Well, look, I don't want to call this too early, but clearly the Russian is in a really strong position halfway through the second of 3 periods. And, it's a mouth-watering prospect to see Kolobova go up against Popescu for gold here in Tallinn. Both very active, both creators. A little bit messy there from Kolobova. She didn't set that one up at all. Perhaps premeditated, try and spring a little surprise to open up the gap, but it didn't work out. Set that up,
Nice.
didn't she?
Very nice. Yeah.
She stepped into
Draws
distance.
her out and flicks over the top of the counter. Yeah.
Took the words around her mouth. She absolutely set that up. She just went, here I am, come and get me. No chance.
Catch up. We will see.
How do you find it sitting watching EPEE matches? I know you and I have had plenty of conversations over the years, but as a referee, you're there to do a job, and you have to stay fairly emotive. You can't show any emotion. You've just got to call the hits as they are. But some of your favourite hits? What would you say your favourite hit in EPEE is?
I think my favourite hits are the ones that are really set up, really well controlled. The ones where they've just sold their opponent completely, where with distance or with second intention with the blade, but something where they've just out-thunk their opponent.
Yep. I don't think that word has been used on the fencing commentary before. Out-thunk. I'm going to try and use that a bit more. But that's exactly what Kolobova did. It was a really sweet hit to take her 4 points ahead. There's just 30 seconds to go, and now she can play that game, can't she?
Yeah, she can. I don't think she'll be that content to play that game. I don't think her coach will be that content to let her play that game either. She's won this by controlling distance, controlling the tempo, and if she doesn't keep doing it, she could lose 1 or 2 hits, and then the mind starts to go slightly, and then it's a slippy slope down.
Yeah, got to stay active. But I suppose what I mean is that as long as she's sort of relatively active, she can afford to play out a couple of doubles and just draw Zhu into attacking and just pick off a couple of easy hits, because now she's just 4 away from the target score, and I think they're going to let this period play out. So as we go to the second break, Adrian, here's the toughest of questions that I can possibly ask you. What on earth can Zhu Mingji do now? What do you think? I'm not going to say what you think Hughes Obrey is going to say, because no one's going to know what Hughes Obrey's magical tactical mind is going to say. But what would you say if you were down there?
I think you have to look at extending that distance a bit, getting her in control of the distance, opening that distance a little more, and looking for second intention. She can't open the distance and then go direct. So what she's going to have to do is open the distance, draw Kolobova into an action, and then go off that.
And in terms of trying to expand on that, I know most of our viewers are fencing fans, but just trying to expand on that, that's almost certainly what Kolobova is doing, and he's going to predict that Zhu is going to come out and do. Zhu's got to do second intention in a slightly different way, doesn't she? She's got to almost throw in a short attack to make Kolobova think that she's going for it and finishing it, and then using second intention off whatever Kolobova does there. Yeah,
throwing a short attack or feint to a target she's not going for and come out to a different target. So look for wrist, go down to knee, look for foot, come up to wrist.
Nice, okay.
Something unpredictable.
Well, Mattis Henkelman will get us underway. The third and final period of the second women's semi-final here in Tallinn. This for a shot at gold against Anna Maria Popescu. Oh, just beautiful footwork.
She went for it though. She went for the wrist and down to the foot. She's just didn't get it.
There you go. And she called it, but Kolobova's distance in defence was absolutely sweet. Just stepped out of the way, and then Zhu was just sitting duck.
Same in reverse. Got her into the distance. Kolobova's the one that loses her distance this time. Zhu picks her off. Kolova's just trying to draw out. She's not trying to make the hit. She's not happy with that distance being quite so big. And trying to draw into that.
She's fallen into this trap too many times, the Chinese athlete. And you can almost see, when in slow motion, you can actually see her going, look, there's the top of my hand. Go on, have a go at it. And Zhu, from too far away, launches the flash, and that's beautifully and fairly comfortably parried by the Russian. 2 away now from making the gold medal match here in time, and that is another brilliant hit.
Same again.
Assistant referee just pointing out that Zhu's hair might be skipping out the way. I think referee Hakelman wants to get this one done, and so does Violetta Kolobova. She is through to the gold medal match. A tactical masterclass, Adrian.
Yeah, brilliant fencing, brilliant control of distance. She always looked from the start to be comfortable in her footwork and where she was on the piece, and I think that made the difference.
Tasty final we've got coming up, isn't it? These two have been fencing really well today. They've fenced well enough to make the final, and they're both the creators.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that coming up. In the meantime, we have to have a 10-minute break to give Violetta Kolobova a bit of a rest, and we are going to have some kind of dancing and musical display. We will leave you that. We'll try and leave the sound on for as long as we can, but if they start playing commercial music, we are going to have to mute it. But don't go too far. 10 minutes time till the gold medal match. Oh, enough of the dancing. Although I've got to say, I did enjoy that 50th celebration of this Glav de Tallinn event. And it's now time to resume the hostilities on the piste. We had one finalist up. Oh, there's the other one.
Bronze medalist from Rio de Janeiro Olympic Team Competition 2016, European champion 2017 and Russian champion 2019, representing Russian Federation, Violetta Kolobova.
There we go. Violetta Kolobova, her record speaks for itself. Being the Russian national champion this year is a big one though. Such a strong field. She's 28 years old, and number 8 in the world.
Team event 2016 Olympic Games. Silver medal from World Championships in Luxi 2018. Silver medal from Olympic Games in Beijing 2008. Representing Romania, Anna Maria Popescu.
Two-time Olympic medalist from 2 different Olympic Games, spun across 8 years. Anna Maria Popescu is the world number 9 at 34 years old from Romania. Our refereeing lineup, they always put in a tough one for me for the finals. It's the Greek referee, Efstathios Gerasidiris, will take refereeing duties here. And it's going to be Denis Ostrowski of Estonia who will be on the video. Mina Borosak and Matthias Henkelman will be assisting the referees here. And, well, after the spectacular dancing and light show, it's time for some spectacular women's épée. And Adrian, if you want to pick some aggressive, high-scoring épée, these two have been doing it all day. What are the chances they're going to ease off against each other in the final and make it into a cagey one?
That's the thing, you never know. I think it'll depend how it starts. It might start very cagey, it might start very quickly. It's like we see two top football teams that have been hyped for all season come together and have 45 minutes of very dull football, but hopefully we'll avoid that.
I'm not expecting a 0-0 bore draw here. Popescu has by far the best head-to-head. 80% of matches she's won between the two, but they haven't met since January 2016.
Yeah, I was there in Barcelona. I think Popescu managed to win it 15-8 on that occasion. So, but yeah, a long time ago.
Well, we are underway. The referee has got this gold medal match at the 50th Glav de Tallinn tournament underway. These two have been the creators all day. And Popescu looks like she's going in search of something early here. Pressing from Popescu, but she's trying to tease Kolobova out. Oh! Wow. They both missed the first attempts.
Yeah, one of them missed the second as well.
Well, 2:10 on the clock at the start of this period. We've got within 10 seconds of non-combativity being called, but neither of these two have been playing the passivity game today. Winding up for that one, wasn't she? Sexy. almost trying to hypnotise Kolobova
Wait,
into
yeah, just wait for it to follow the blade, leave that little bit of a gap, and then go for it.
left-hander launching the fleche. It's always great to see fencing when you've got a left-hander on the left and a right-hander on the right, because you get to see a lot more of the blade actions. Sometimes difficult to see the right-hander coming across the body with cart, but still you get to see the open sides of both fences. Interesting to see that Popescu's come to this side of the piece. She's trying to lure Kolobova into trying to attack down the outside to the arm, outside of the arm.
Yeah, she's changed line a couple of times now. I think it's it can depend on where you feel most comfortable with your parry. If you feel you've got a slightly stronger ceased parry than you do a cart parry, you might want to draw down that side.
Well, Kolobova's hair falling out. It's not the problem that it is in foil and sabre that the hair can cover the valid target area and come up off target. So is it just because it's distracting?
No, the other one is it's quite easy to get hair. If you go for a hit and you wrap it up in the hair can get between the point and the barrel. You're scoring a good hit, but you can't depress the button enough for it to register.
I hadn't thought about that.
And so that's why it affects the opponent. That's the more bigger problem, is if you make that hit into the hair, it stops the point from depressing
Effectively
properly.
stops the switch from going completely
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
On. To think about that one. I mean, it would be a freak accident, but I can understand why you would try and avoid it.
Obviously, as the other fence, you don't really want your hair ripped out by a point either.
Well, there is that, yeah. So hair restored to inside the mask, and we get back underway. The first World Cup of the season across all 6 disciplines here in Tallinn. A great honour, especially in this year, this very, very special year, where Olympic qualifying for Tokyo 2020 is concluded. And I know I've said that a number of times, but it really is very important, well, for both of these fences. But the Russians are in a very strong position in terms of team qualification. I think it would take some kind of major miracle for them not to qualify as a team. But Romania, miles and miles and miles and miles behind, not really a strong enough team apart from Popescu. So Popescu is having to go for things as we go into the break through the individual route. Coming into this, she's chasing down Coraline Vitaly of France and Alina Krivitska of Ukraine, who currently occupy those 2 additional European spots. And she was, some 21 points behind Vitaly and 11 behind Krivitska. So far today, she's got herself up to 96 points, with Vitaly going out and Krivitska going out early on. Vitaly finishes on 99, Krivitska on 85. This is for the Olympic ranking points, not the world ranking points, which means that Popescu's already overtaken Krivitska. If she gets the other 8 points, what does that put her on?
Yeah, 102. She's going to be 3 ahead.
She's going to be top of the pile in terms of the European, extra individual European spots. Subject to confirmation by the FIE, we have to say that. But with the post-it note mathematics that we've been doing in between the semi-finals, that's how things look. So good day already for Popescu. Could get even better with a win here. 2 apiece, second period. Just a little bit more creation from Kolobova. She seems to also be letting the distance get a little bit closer before doing anything.
Yeah, it's and a lot closer than we saw in the both, I think, both the previous semi-finals. It's very cagey.
Nice hit under the wrist there. Inside the left hand up.
That's what happens when your feet go before your hand.
Oh yeah, we're going to see that in the replay. So she was winding up the springs, and they just started the lean forward before extending her arm. Suicide in EPEE especially.
Yeah, indeed.
Both exceptionally close on their first ones. That flick over the top from Popescu just missed, I think. This one here just got her hand out of the way quick enough. Kolobova. Now this is the crucial minute for me. It has been all day in this tournament for both of these fencers, eking out the lead halfway through the second period and then holding on to it. Oh, lovely stuff from Kolobova. That's a bit of harks a little bit of what she was doing in the semi-final.
Yeah, I think the mistake there is from Popescu. She just falls short, not really committing, but too close for making a second intention action.
With the distance what it is here, this is going to be more about reaction, isn't it? When the opportunity comes, you've just got to go and take it.
Yeah, they're both highly athletic though, so I mean, it's making that opportunity. It's having a good sense of when the opportunity's there, not going at the wrong time.
Referee's giving this one, and Popescu calls for a video replay here, saying that Kolobova had gone past.
Ambitious, I don't think they were anywhere near, unfortunately.
I agree with you. Referee has to go and have a look at the video, though. If asked by the fencers, well, there's an opportunity. How does the video refereeing system work? You've got about 4 seconds before the referee's back.
So each fencer has 2 reviews they can make. It must be the fencer to ask or the referee of his own volition. You could get called over by the video ref, but unlikely unless they spot something very untoward.
And the assistant can also raise their hand, and if they've missed something, they'll probably go and have a look at the video, but I guess that's of their own volition. Yeah. Get 2 wrong as a fencer, though, and you don't have any more, so sometimes you have to bank one of them at least.
And sometimes they can be great tactically. I mean, you can, if you've hemorrhaged a few hits in a row, you can't kill time out of the fight by tying your shoelace or straightening your weapon without getting cards for it. You can, however, send the referee on a 20-second walk to the video.
All within the rules. Right, the longer this goes on in this second period without Popescu scoring hits, the better it looks for Kolobova, but Popescu showed in her semi-final that she can come back at the death.
Yeah, she really brought it back in the last one. In this one, she's snatching a hit. She's dropping her arm and she's going for the hit. She's not getting her wrist up, and I think that's why she's having trouble getting the point to fix on Kolobova's arm. Much better.
And here we see in the replay, there's another one of the flashes that she saw in the first period, this time coming across the body.
It was taking the blade first, though, that made the difference there.
Again, just stepping in to lure the attack. Just that one step in to lure the attack from the Russian.
Yeah, I think there's a few times Popescu's been quite in the middle ground of not quite committing fully to the target, but also being too close to lure a second action out from Kolobova that she can then go off of.
As we go to the break, the second break, and it's a great position for Kolobova, but the break sometimes brings out different tactics, and you've got to think that this
Really
young
interesting to
fencer
see
here is going to be thinking, right, what am I going to get from Popescu when I come out? Popescu has said, look, I've tried a couple of things here. They're not working. Come on, coach, give me a tip. One thing I have noticed, Adrian, which we see quite a lot in foil, especially women's foil, is Kolobova's not actually completing that fake step in. She's leaning forwards on her body, moving her front foot, so she hasn't moved her back foot at all. And I think that that's led Popescu into thinking that she's stepped right forward, and it doesn't take as much effort for her to... She doesn't have to do a full step back, the Russian.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's creating the illusion of the distance you're at. So another way you can do it that you see sometimes in EPEE is people will just widen their stance slightly. So they drop a bit lower, they look like they're a bit further back. In reality, the distance is still very similar. But it makes a difference on where your balance is. So if you have someone that's looking to time it while you're off balance, and they've seen that you're over your front foot, you're off balance, you're over your front foot, you're off balance, and then you only look like you're over your front foot.
Yep. Well, we're back underway here. Third and final period, this for gold in Tallinn. Kolobova, the Russian on the right, has stolen the lead in the second period and has just under 3 minutes to cling on to it. But she has to stay active because we know Popescu can fight back. And Popescu wants to write that one off. She wants to move straight on. She knows she made the mistake.
Yeah, didn't really wrap up the blade very well. Got a bit too close with no blade.
That was close.
Nicely timed, very nicely timed.
When she lets this attack go, it's really worked for her, hasn't it? They've gone back to that circular cease before launching at this sort of hypnotic circular cease from the left-hander.
It's just committing fully through the action. It gives far, far less time to respond.
Slightly different action this time. See on the replay here. Does she look like she's going for the hand first and then drops down?
I think what she does is she takes a blade. There's a very little pause, just a microsecond pause to decide where the best target to finish is.
Like that, the gap is down to 1. Kolobova's not as active and as mobile as she has been throughout the fight. She's just a little bit like a bunny in between headlights at the moment. She needs to start bouncing around, moving around, playing with the distance again for me.
Yeah, she's very, very static. There's a lot of energy going through her legs, but look, she's been straddling that on guard line now for the past 5 seconds. Her legs are active, but they're not really going anywhere.
Sometimes the lead can be a scary place, especially when you're facing someone of Popescu's stature to hunt you down. Distance just opened slightly, and it's really working for this attacking Popescu. All square momentum with the Romanian now. More proactive from the Russian now. Well, did Kolobova miss here, or did Popescu make her miss?
I don't think Kolobova was there in it. I think Popescu went first. It's just a reaction from Kolobova. The hit she's got back, and now being ahead, she's looked so much more committed to those actions, driving the point through the action.
Yeah, now making Kolobov rush. She doesn't need to. She's got 26 seconds. Only a hit behind. And I think she might have to straighten that weapon, the Romanian. Pretty sure Popescu was putting her hand up to say, sorry I hit you so hard, but it doesn't even look like it's touched Kolobov at all.
No, thankfully. I mean, sometimes you see when two fencers get their distance slightly wrong, you can end up with some very brutal hits through no one's fault.
Yeah.
Just a slight error in distance.
And with Popescu, as you've been saying, now committed to the attack. If Kolobov comes in at the wrong time, that could be painful. Inside 15 seconds, Kolobov needs one more to close the gap up, draw it level, but Popescu's now 2 away. Time and the scoreline in favour of the Romanian, having trailed for so long. She's fought her way back into this one. Can she hang on for the gold here in Tallinn? Another double. Now the doubles are important. And with 8.9 seconds, well, she's probably got 2 seconds to think about it, then Kolobov's got to go for it. And a ducking attack from the Russian is avoided by Anna Maria Popescu, the champion of the Tallinn World Cup 2019. She came back in the semi-final. I thought that Kolobov had too much for her there, Adrian. How did she do that?
She changed the tactics. She changed the way she was deciding to fence. Instead of looking for second intention, instead of what were quite half-hearted attacks, she committed to them, and she was just too fast. Her hand speed's just too fast.
Well, brilliant stuff. There she is, Anna Maria Popescu, the champion of Tallinn 2019, the 50th edition of the Glove to Tallinn, and now the leading individual athlete from Europe in the adjusted Olympic rankings. Congratulations to her. As always, we have to turn off because of the commercial music, but Adrian Spigman, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Tallinn women's individual EPEE.
Well, here we go. It's time for the medal ceremonies here at the first World Cup of fencing's international season 2019-2020. And what a great couple of days we've had here in Tallinn, Estonia. Final worthy of the final match in the individual tournament.
The medals will be presented by the President of Estonian Olympic Committee, Mr. Urmas Sõõrumaa. The Mayor of Tallinn, Mr. Mihhail Kõlvart. And the President of Estonian Fencing Association, Mr. Margus Hanson.
Well, our three VVIP guests are presenting the medals, trophies, flowers and gifts. And I like this. The top 8 are being presented here in Tallinn. Nicole Foietta of Italy finishing in the top 8, going out in the quarterfinals. She lost out to Anna Maria Popescu, finishing in 8th. In 7th place, Josephine Jacques Andre Coquin. She lost out to Zhu Mingji in the quarterfinals. Sixth place, what a day for Canada and Leonora McKinnon. I believe that's her best result at a senior major. McKinnon losing out to Sun Yi Wen in the quarterfinals. And the last of our losing quarterfinals, world number 1 when she came into the tournament, Hong Kong's Kong Man Wei Vivian. Fell to Violetta Kolobova in that quarterfinals. China have had another good day. Hughes Aubry, congratulations to you, because it's Zhu Mingji and Sun Yi Wen collecting the bronze medalists, losing out in the semi-finals, but still standing on the podium here in Tallinn. Well, we all thought she had it in the final, but she was pipped at the post. It's Russia's Violetta Kolobova. Fenced so well all day. But the gold medal goes to the superstar of the day. She claims the 50th Glaive de Tallinn title here at the beginning of fencing's international season. It's the superstar, Anna Maria Popescu of Romania. It was Urmas Sõõrumaa, the president of the Estonian Olympic Committee, handing out the medals. It's the mayor of Tallinn here, Mihhail Kõlvart, who's giving out the gifts. A very specially crafted sword. That's a pretty big one for Anna Maria Popescu. Hope she can get that in her fencing bag.
Congratulations one more time, Anna Maria Popescu, Violetta Golova, Ivanson and Yuchu, and also the other top 8 fencers. And now, please stand.
So the Flower Girls presenting the flowers to our top 8 athletes. It's now time for Anna Maria Popescu to hear her national anthem. Well, there we go. Anna Maria Popescu claiming top spot here in Tallinn and climbing to the top of the adjusted Olympic rankings for European athletes. Having started the day, sat back in 3rd, she's now in one of the extra qualifying positions for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. A bit of a bonus on top of the gold medal. We come back tomorrow for the all-important team competitions, and we'll start here with our live coverage at 10 o'clock for the incomplete round of 32. It's going to be across a number of pieces that aren't on show. We'll show you what we can, but I'll be with you at 11:15 for the round of 16. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with pictures of the top 4 here in Tallinn.